So, okay, well, the introduction also takes a little bit of time. So let's get started, and then if everybody joins whenever they decide to join, it's all good with me. So first of all, welcome to this QR code masterclass, Boost Your ROI with QR codes. My name is Roman Russo. I'm the sales manager here in QR Tiger, and today I'm really excited to give this presentation. My job is to give calls or webinars like this and to answer any questions that you might have. So please, by all means, ask all the questions. And I also always incentivize people to, whenever you have a question, as soon as it comes out, write it down so you don't forget it. Because during this presentation, there will be a lot of opportunity to for us to talk. And that means that a lot of presentations are going to be shared. And this means that that if your questions are coming up, you might forget about them a little bit later on. And that's really what I was trying to say. Okay, I was just doing one thing before I start. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to do is to ask you, what does your ideal QR code campaign look like? And this is an important question because I'm sure if you're joining this call, you have an idea of what you want to do with QR codes. And my job is to inspire you additionally to maybe even see a couple more opportunities, because QR codes are everywhere nowadays. You will find them on a bus stop, on in a restaurant, in your business, on a package. It's there everywhere, right? So there's many applications to QR codes, and some of them are not always as intuitive as we might think. So I guess one of the most common ways how people use QR codes is on their branding and marketing, so marketing products, but also they're used in logistics, such as tracking goods, but also they are used in offices, so to facilitate paperwork and workflows. So one thing I want to talk to you from the get-go, the biggest difference that I hear all the time that you need to address, like from the start, is the difference between a static QR code and a dynamic QR code. Now, okay, the biggest difference is that if you get a static QR code, it's going to look something like this. It's going to be huge. It's going to have a lot of this points, pixels, whatever you want to call them. So it's a lot of emails with people creating first a static QR code, and they later say, hey, I really need to edit it because I already printed it on my product, on all my marketing material, but I decided to change my mind, I made a mistake, etc. And it's just not possible. So dynamic QR codes is a way to go. And the next thing is there is no data tracking. Now, it's important, data is important. Why? Because if somebody scans your QR code, you need to know that the scan took place. Otherwise, you have no information. Is this working? Is it not working? So data is very important. Now, a dynamic QR code, you can see it's way more compact. It has way more colors, and you can do a lot of things. You can put a little logo in the middle. It's way less dense. You can edit it. So just write, change your mind, whatever. You can also track your data. And let's talk a little bit about data, because that's one of the major questions that everybody has. So here is the types of data that you would get. Now, first of all, you can break down your data by day, month, year, etc. You can see what kind of devices scanned it, and also where in the world the scan took place. Nowadays, you can have an option to have like a general information about where the scan took place, say in London or in Paris or in Rome, right? Or you can be very specific, but for that, people have to accept a certain level of permission. They have to say, I accept the fact that you will have this information on me. And this is called GPS tracking. We will touch on it in just a second. So you either get like a general information or very specific, but if you want to have a specific information on where the scan took place, the user needs to allow this, say, I consent to sharing my location. And this is a little bit of a breakdown by number of scans, device, and location. Okay, now there is a lot of different types of QR codes. Generally speaking, there are 17 types of QR codes, and I believe that they even created a couple of more just recently. So I want to just go ahead and address them. To do so, I will exit this view, and I'm going to go into our dashboard. Okay, so this is our dashboard, and you already can see that there is a lot of things happening here. And if you're on this call, I kind of imagine that you already are familiar somewhat with our interface, but let's go through a little bit everywhere, see what's happening. I'm gonna DHL, I'm gonna open their website as my reference. And okay, let's talk about this. We have a URL. This is the most common type of QR code. So there is nothing to it, nothing to say, except, if you have static or dynamic one, you can later on change it to anything that you want. And then we have a vCard. Now, vCard is like what we call a virtual business card. A virtual business card, this is my example, this is my card. You can see that there is a picture, a text, title, a little bit of explanation, what I do, my email, website. There is no phone number. I'm going to show you that this option actually exists, but if you don't fill it in, it's not going to appear here. And then generally speaking, other information, including social media. And the cool thing about social media is that you can save it to your phone, send it as an email, or just copy the URL of this vCard and then share it with somebody else. So that's kind of cool. And the two main ways how people use the vCards is internally. So in a company, say, of 5,000 employees, people often don't know who they sit across the table, or they have to request information, which takes a lot of times. So they have little badges, and they say, okay, they scan it, they get all the information, they can save it to their phones. And this same application can be used in the sales environment. So you go to an event, you have a little badge, and then people can scan it, and then you generate the leads, and you don't lose this information for the future purpose. So that's kind of a great way how to create leads and build your business. The next way how we use QR codes is in a file. We share a file in the format PDF, JPEG, etc. And you just upload a file, and then people scan it, and they open this immediately. Now, I had a client, for example, they were selling cars. They put next to every car a QR code, so when people scan it, they would get all the information regarding this car in a PDF format. Social media link. We call social media because most of our clients use it for social media purposes. They kind of list all the social media that they have, but generally speaking, it doesn't have to be only social media. We can actually remove it here, and you see it disappears. We can add a little bit of URLs. We can add a email, a phone number, etc. And then we can also just a little bit move it around. You see how it changes place. So it's very dynamic. Now, I have an example here of Disney. They have a little bit of a logo here, a little bit of explanation what it's all about. They have a little background which you could change. They put a little YouTube video right in the center. Now, a YouTube video can be used for many purposes. You can kind of describe who you are, describe your product, give a little introduction video, and then you can list all your social media, which is kind of a great way how you can share all your information. So instead of having if you want one compact way how to share a lot of information, then you would probably go for social media. Now, a menu tagger is a feature for restaurants and anyone who uses a menu. Now, most of people on this call are not going to need this, so I'm going to skip it. But if you have any questions regarding this feature, and if you want more information, please don't hesitate to ask me, or follow up with our team after the call, and I'm going to show you just in a second how you can do it. In H5 editor is like a landing page that you can build online. So I give you an example, a template. You have an image, you have title, subtitle, you can put a button, text, and you can even code it if you want it. So you can do a lot of things with this kind of nice. Google form is if you want a feedback about your business, how anything is doing, you can use it. And it doesn't have to be Google form. It could be Bing form or any other sort of form. So just by all means, yes, use it and you're gonna get your replies. I have a case study a little bit later on in this presentation, and I'm gonna show you how exactly it can look like. And I see that already some people are asking a few questions here. I'm gonna answer the questions if it's all right with you in the end of the presentation. But again, please keep your questions coming because I'm gonna go quickly through different points here. And then if you kind of have a question on your mind, you might forget about it a little bit later on. So ask it immediately and then I will get to it, okay? Now, this is a really good feature for European Union, right? Or UK or this just location where we're at. Why? Because there is so many more countries, there's so many languages, and you want to have a different approach sometimes to different clients that you have. So based on location, you can use the same QR code and you can sell, for example, let's say a Coca-Cola bottle. You can print a QR code on that. And then the same bottle in like a million different countries. And depending on location where they're going to scan the QR code, you can send them to different destinations. So we're using a example of DHL. So we can say that if somebody is going to scan this QR code and they don't have like a default location, say I only have business in Europe, but somebody from China scans my QR code, then they're going to be sent to a default URL, right? But if somebody is from France, then I can create a page over here, and if somebody is from Spain, then I can create a page over here, and the same for Italy, etc. The only thing that this feature doesn't do is translate your website. So if you want to send people to a FR domain or ES domain or etc., you have to make sure that those domains exist in your website before you send them. And similarly to the location one, we have language. So based on the language which exists in the device of the user, so we are speaking English during this presentation, we could speak Spanish, French. I know that there is Italy, somebody from Italy, somebody from France, from Spain. By the way, if you speak those languages, it's easier for you to type it in those languages. Quite multinational, I can understand what your questions are later on. So don't hesitate to write in French, Spanish, and Italian. I will understand all those languages. And you can even test me. It can be a little bit fun for us to see an explanation in a different language. And so, yeah, exactly. So use a different language. You can send them to different landing page. Again, like say French. Yeah, and then it goes to France, right? Etc. So that's kind of cool. Now, another way how you can use the same QR code for many different pages is, say, for first 50 people who are going to scan this QR code going to go to a URL 1, and then the 100th next one is going to go to URL 2. And why this is important is, for example, imagine you have a promotion, right? And you give 10% off to first 50 people and 5% off to the next 100 people. And, you know, you can even put it in a loop. So it goes like again and again and again. And so that's a way for like smart marketeers to reach a wider audience, to be creative. Now, this is also cool based on the time of the day. So say morning, afternoon, evening, you can show different landing pages, which could be important for, say, a restaurant. In the morning, they have a breakfast menu. In the evening, they have dinner menu. But I also had like a pizza place next door, and they say, hey, we don't have so many visitors in the mornings. So we're giving 10% off if you're going to buy pizza from us in the morning. In the afternoon, we have enough people showing up, so we don't give this discount anymore. So say from 8 a.m. till, I don't know, 12, you can put it here correctly. You can set it up, then they're going to have a discount, and later on you don't have the same discount. And geofencing, that's kind of like a new feature. It's more for people who are concerned with their protection. So what it does is you can scan a QR code if you're within the region indicated over here. So if you fall outside this region, then the QR code is just not going to open. And you can add multiple locations here. Again, this is for security reasons. Some companies just doesn't want to advertise the QR code or to be able to open the QR code. They say, okay, if you're in this location, say this discount only valid for London, right? So if you are not outside of London, you're not going to be able to open this. And this is how you're going to do it. So this is a multi-URL one. Let's go to app stores. Depending on the type of phone or tablets that you're going to use. So for Android, you can send it to one store, and for iOS, for the Apple store, products, phones, you can send them to a different URL, right? So you can differentiate. So instead of printing 2 QR codes, you can print one, and it's a smart QR code in a way that it knows where to send everybody. Now, we've been talking about the difference between static and dynamic QR code. Now here, URL is both static and dynamic. We can create it either in this way or in this way. Now, most of these QR codes are purely dynamic. There are some of them which are both static and dynamic, but this one, Wi-Fi, is purely static. What it means is that if you create it and then you decide to change password or some other information regarding this QR code, then you have to reprint the QR code. Now that's a little bit annoying, I know, but this QR code is really, really good for businesses that, for example, in a cafe, you have million people coming in and million people going to be like, what's a password? What's a password? And then you give them that it's very long, it has many characters, have exclamation marks, everything, and people make mistakes. So instead of giving them, you just give them one QR code, and if somebody says, what's the Wi-Fi, you give them the QR code. And people scan, automatically connected to your network. Automatically, they don't have to do anything else. And so you can do the same for your house, for your office, and this kind of like saves a lot of time and the headaches. And then people actually like this kind of technology. So I invite you to create one of them for yourself so you can use it. Now, MP3 QR code, what it does is I have a DJ client. He puts samples of his music, so people scan QR code and they get the sample. But we also have a tourist destination business, and they use QR code to upload like a tour guide, right? And so people can go around and listen to whatever is happening around them. So they kind of like put QR code all over the place so people can scan it. Now we have social media next. We have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, and you can have others ones. So the difference between these 4, social media or URL one, is that whenever you open it in URL, it's going to show you open it in a browser. And if you're going to do it here or here, it's going to open with an app. So when people are scanning QR code, they usually scan it on a mobile, on a phone, right, or on a tablet. So usually they have an app on their phone. And if they scan it and they open in a browser, they often are not logged in. So that's a problem because it can lead to a loss of potential clients. And that's just bad, right? So how do you mitigate this problem is that you create here or here. And then, of course, there are more social media than these ones, but usually only these ones have like a problem with them. If you kind of like create a QR code, they would open within a browser. So we created a special QR code for that. So if you're opening TikTok, for example, just use URL and it's going to work just fine. Now, the remaining QR code, I'm not going to spend too much time on them. They're quite basic, let's say like that. Very few people use them, but I'm going to quickly explain what it is. Email, you can pre-write your email. Text, write a small text over here and going to appear whenever people scan your QR code. Thank you for scanning QR code or something like that. But if you're going to use the text, you can also use a H5 editor. I actually had a client recently saying to me, hey, I can't edit this one. That's because you need to use H5 editor, and H5 editor is a dynamic one. This is a static one. So this one can be edited, this one cannot be. Send SMS, you can pre-write an SMS. You can have an event scheduled. You can join an event using the event one, and location is whenever you scan it. It's just this location has to be scanned. All right, this was quite easy. Now, what I want to do with you right now is I want to show you a little bit more functionality. I guess most people will know this, but just in case, so we're on the same page, I'm going to create a QR code because there is a couple of cool ideas that you might not be aware of. First of all, you don't have to use a standard pattern. You can use something more creative like this. It's way more pretty, right? Now we can customize eyes, which is 1, 2, 3. This one is also an eye, and you can upload a logo. So I have for example of DHL, I have DHL logo. So I'm going to crop it. I'm going to appear quite nicely here in the center. Just give it a second. There we go, quite pretty. And now we can use a little bit of branding. So we can say, I want like orange color for DHL. But then what happens is this one gives me a little bit of an error saying, hey, you're using too light colors. So that's an issue that a lot of clients actually do. They use very light colors on the QR codes. And then when it's very light, bright outside, the scannability of QR code is not so good. Now, another issue that a lot of clients do is they don't use a call for action. They don't explain why people should scan a QR code. They just put a QR code there and people have to figure out what it does, right? So sometimes it's kind of obvious. Let's say a Coca-Cola bottle, kind of like, oh, if it's QR code on Coca-Cola bottle, that means should have to do something with QR code with them, right? Maybe a promotion, maybe it sends to a website. But in other cases, it's not very obvious. So write why people should scan your QR code. Say, scan me and win 10% off, or get 10% off. Scan, win something. Scan and see my business card, virtual business card, etc. And what another thing that you can do is you can download in two formats with PNG, SVG. The difference is this is more for mobile computers, laptops, phones, and this is for printing. So scalable vertographics. And that means that you can print your QR code as big or small as you want, and it's not gonna lose its resolution. So I'm gonna download this right now. And it takes us over here to this dashboard. Now, first thing that you're gonna see is that you can rename your QR code. Now, if you have hundreds, if not thousands of QR codes, this can be like a really big lifesaver, because you can say to people, well, this is campaign 1, this is campaign 2, and you can differentiate like this. The second way how you can differentiate this is by putting it a watch list. What it means is that if you have an event happening today and you have hundreds of QR codes, you can really be like specific. I really need to see what's happening with this QR code is by watching watch list, and I'm gonna show it over here. You can also add it to a folder. So I create 3 folders: customer support, marketing, and sales. So, you can differentiate. If you have, again, hundreds of QR codes, you can differentiate like this. And another thing you can do is, you're in marketing, specifically speaking, you can retarget your QR code. So if somebody scans it, you can follow the clicks to Google, to Facebook. So that's kind of smart way how to do it. Expiry date is like, you have an event today. This QR code is available for today, not tomorrow. And then if somebody scans tomorrow, it's expired. By number of scans, I give 50 discounts, 10% off, and that's it. So then if somebody scans on the 51st, it's expired. And this one, IP, is the best way how I explain it, is that you have a box of chocolates, and you want everybody to take only one chocolate. You don't want people to take 2 chocolates or take the whole box of chocolates, right? So the same thing applies to a QR code. You don't want like a same person scanning it 20 times. Like if you have a winning QR code, you don't want the same person to win it 20 times, right? So you say, okay, first 20 people who are gonna scan it, gonna be able to do it. So if I scan it, it opens. Second time I scan it, it doesn't open. Next person can still scan it. So that's how you do it. GPS tracking. I actually have it on over here. I don't have it on over here. And what it means is that if you have it off, then if somebody scans QR code, it gives you general location where the scan took place. Paris, London, Barcelona, whatever, right? But if I turn it on, then I know exactly the street. I know the door number of that scan. And this limit scan location, it's geofencing, means that you can only scan it within a special radius. So I say only in London you can scan it. And if you try to scan it outside of London, it's just gonna block you. So that's kind of nice for certain businesses, certain ways. Now, sometimes you want to be notified when people are scanning your QR code, but if you have hundreds of QR codes on and everybody's scanning it throughout the day, then you're gonna have a flooded email inbox. So we kind of turn it off. Password, if you just say, okay, somebody in marketing has to have access to it, but not in customer support, right? So you kind of block it like this with the password. And then we talked about editing. So we can edit it over here. If you have a vCard, you can also edit it, and every QR code you can edit in this way. Now stats, I have 0 scans on this one, but I have 8 over here. So let's take a look how that looks. So we have in July just now happened that 7 people and one of them scanned twice. So unique scans 7, total scans 8. We have people who mostly scanned on Apple and then not Android. And then you can see locations, number of scans. And this just needs a refresh and gonna load just fine. Just a second. Okay, so you can see that a couple of clicks we have in US, we have a little bit of here in Europe, and I'm gonna just zoom over here on London. Because this is exactly why I took the scan. This is like actually a local library, and people who I was there and I took a scan, and I can tell you that's exactly where the scan took place. That's exactly where it is. So that's how it works. Instead of getting like a general location, you get very specific information about your scans. Now you have a little bit of a log here, which is kind of nice. And you just have like a map view, world view of your scans as they happen. Again, you can download this information about this QR code over here, and gonna have like a whole breakdown on your Excel sheet. Okay, at this point, I just want to jump back into my presentation, this one, and I'm gonna quickly go through the rest. I believe we're gonna go have a couple of case studies, mostly for people who requested those. So again, if you might not have requested some of this information, but we have some general examples here anyway. So for example, in marketing, we can have promoting product services, bringing traffic to your website, collecting leads, increasing brand awareness and customer engagement. So that's one way how you can use your QR code. So here an example of just in a mall, you have a QR code, you shop here, call to action, very important. And then what happens if you scan this QR code? Why should I scan this QR code? You get 30% off. So that's kind of a nice example. Now, logistics, you can track your inventory, track product, manage inventory, efficiently stock replacement, reduce manual errors, improve supply chain visibility. So we have a QR code on the box, you scan it, you know exactly what's happening with the product. You can even know, this is the same text, that what's the product inside of the package. So that's kind of like tells you, this product is this, you have more information. You get an example of my car sales example. There was a car, it's on sales, you can see the mileage, you can see what's the year of the car, etc. It can be all inside that one QR code. Business cards, virtual business card, vCards, like employee IDs, right? So quickly connect and share information internally or in a point of sales. So you can have it as a sales batch, right? Eliminate the need for manual data entry, easier networking, get in touch with, saves time, improve efficiency of information sharing, right? So again, you scan it, you have all this information, you can download this to your phone. This is the one we talked about before, Google Form. So you scan the QR code, you get like a little bit of survey. You can collect your data, spot trends, address concerns, make a data-driven decision. So you see this is a restaurant. You have a person maybe arguing, maybe something is not right. So they scan the QR code, they can leave a feedback. Now you know something is wrong, you can address it. This is how it's gonna look like just on your phone. And this is just to say that if you collect data via our platform, you can make a better decisions overall. So collect your data, help optimize future campaigns, make a better data-driven decisions. Again, this is just a slide to talk about the data. We already addressed it, so I'm going to skip it. And a few more case studies. So first case study I have about just the event that they had in Los Angeles. They wanted to use a QR code to send them to a website or social media. So again, this is just a social media, this is a website. You can promote your QR code in very creative ways. This was the show done via using drones. So people were able to scan that. And you can use it on a bus stop, a QR code. You can give a promotion of this is a beauty product promotion. And this was an example that we had from somebody who is in a government institution. They asked us if we could create just a quick presentation of what they could do with them specifically. So we can disseminate information in a quick and convenient way, place poster brochures, flyers, etc. everywhere so we can spread this information. Direct users to website, for more information, download files, videos, help reach a wider audience, make it easier for people to find information they need. You know how in a business or a government office, you have a lot of information, and sometimes it's very hard to kind of like know all there is about specific topics. So you say, okay, we have a point A, all the information is within the QR code. Point B, exhibit 2B, something B, you have all the information in the QR code. Now, this is very useful in, say, marketing as well. Sometimes people, instead of using a huge piece of file together with your smartphone, what they do is just put a QR code, and people scan it and they go online and they have all the access to that information. And if ever it becomes outdated because of the nature of dynamic QR codes, they can change it. So that's kind of nice. Access to services, also in governments. Simplify access to governmental services, enable citizens to quickly connect and relevant sources, information. Applications, appointment settings. So appointments, that could be very nice. Direct people to online appointments, yes. Eliminate the need for physical queues. That's kind of nice. Of course, they have a lot of queues sometimes in government businesses, and they can just eliminate if you can send correctly people to correctly departments, and you reduce the wait time, obviously. And then contactless transactions, sorry. So instead of using money payments, you can do it all online. And how you do it, allow contactless transactions for government services. Think of COVID. So for example, before that, everybody shared money. After COVID started, everybody wanted to pay only with like a credit card or online. That's how you do it. People pay with bills, fines. You can pay bills, fines, fees, etc. using smartphones, simplify payment processes. No need to go to any government offices. So again, you can simplify the process quite a lot. I have also a little bit of a healthcare industry, which is not applicable right now. So you can patient records and identification. You can simplify that process in a similar way, by having all vaccination information here, for example. You have medication information. So again, instead of like providing it in huge paper formats, you can provide the QR code and just have that. And you have in healthcare industry, you can track inventory and maintenance. So we already talked about logistics. In schools, you can provide all the classroom material using the QR code, track attendance, resource sharing. So again, share all your books, all the information, and the multilingual approach. We already talked about how the same QR code can be programmed so it can address many languages at the same time. Now, yes, this is very important. And a lot of our clients work with us because of the integration, API integration. What does it mean is that if you want our system to perform a manual task, you don't want to go there and kind of create QR tagger every time something happens. So for example, somebody buys a ticket and you want to have a QR code on top of the ticket. You don't want to kind of like manually generate thousands of tickets. So what you do is you connect your backend to our backend, and then with a click, this QR code is auto-generated. So we have a couple of applications that we work with, which is Zapier, which connects thousands of different applications to ours. We have HubSpot, which uses CRM, custom relation management. We have Canva, design, Google Analytics, so all your clicks are stored on that platform. Google Tag Manager, again, you can track all your performance via Google. And Monday.com automize all your tasks. So if somebody scans your QR code, you get a task in Monday.com. You can also, generally speaking, instead of creating one QR code at a time, you can create up to 3,000 QR codes in one go. So it will save you a lot of time by first downloading a file, CSV file, filling all the information, then uploading to our platform, and then here, behold, hundreds, if not thousands of QR codes in one go. Now, a little bit more perks about using our platform. We are GDPR compliant, so we guarantee 99% of uptime, and we are scalable. We have 16 billion clicks tracked every year using our platforms. We are fast growing with over 1,000 new branded clicks created every second, and we are flexible. We work with 18,000 developers who use their API technology to work with us. Our safety, we perform so many safety. Is sometimes the only thing I do in my job is perform safety for our clients audits. And what it means is that we actually have few certificates that we say, okay, we have those first certificates, our system is secure. Okay, if you want more checks, we can provide it, no problem. But generally speaking, we have a tools certificate like 2FA, ISO 271001. That one we have it, and we are GDPR compliant. So all the EU privacy rules that are anonymized prior to database storage, we are fully compliant. So if you go with us, your data is stored. And actually, all of these clients, I'm sure that you're gonna recognize most of them are our clients. And most of them, because they're huge companies, they have huge privacy issues, they work with us because of our safety concerns that we have addressed for them, right? And yeah, so actually I want to name a couple of more clients. We have government institutions who work with us, medicine, we have a hospital, we have even a military institution. I'm not going to name them by name, of course, but generally speaking, all of them work with us because of the service, of the quality of the service we provide. So just to sum it up, we are user-friendly interface. We have seamless integration when I have advanced bulk QR code generation. We have competitive prices, one of the best, if not the best on the market. And we actually perform regular checks to know that we are the cheapest. And we actually can provide the cheapest prices because we are the best. So we have more clients, and therefore we provide better service. And we committed to your data privacy. So just a quick gift before we go. So please save it. And if you right now write it down somewhere, we have offer a little discount for new users. If you're first time on this webinar, you can use this discount code, and then you get a little offer when you subscribe to using our platform. And write it down. And if you want to know it later on, you can ask me or our customer support, and they will provide it for you. Just say that you were on a webinar call with Roman, and they will give it to you. And at this point, you can ask me anything. I already know that there are a couple of questions here, and I'm going to quickly address all of them for you. Okay, would be kind for you to share recording. Actually, the recordings are available online. We can send you to your email. We can send you the recordings, the YouTube already of a webinar just like this one. And then hopefully you have all the questions answered there. Just before, I want to show you a quick way how you can get in touch with us. By the way, if you hit this button, you're gonna be able to talk to us live within 10 to 15 minutes. Somebody will get back to you. We have excellent customer support, which is one reason that a lot of clients also work with us, because if you have a question or if you have something that's happening to your code and you just need assistance, usually you want it like right now, right? So our customer support is able to deliver this kind of support. And like I always joke that I sleep, but our customer support doesn't sleep. So they're available 24/7 everywhere in the world, because we are a multinational company. We work in every part of the world. So again, if you need contact, you could talk technically to me, but I recommend you to talk to our customer support, because they know exactly everything that I know, and maybe even more. So just contact us and you will get in touch, and I will send you the YouTube video after this call if you requested it. So yeah, if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate, contact us. Yeah, we'll be more than happy to talk to you. Okay, more questions. Can we manage the backend for a dynamic QR code? And can it be different in each individual product? Backend for different dynamic QR codes. Okay, so backend for individuals. So we are talking about the information on a different QR code. I think that what we addressed is here. You can just edit this information, or if it's a vCard, you can edit that. You can edit everything. If it's dynamic QR code, then you can change it, right? If it's static one, you cannot change it. So for every product, you can create an individual QR code. But then I had actually one client who told me, like, I need 15 million QR codes. And I said, okay, that's kind of a lot. And they also said, we need dynamic QR codes. And I said, okay, but would it be not possible that you use the same QR code on all of your products? And then, if you have like 2 different products, then you use 2 different dynamic QR codes, and then you don't need 15 million. You can, okay, they have like a range of products. Every product is different a little bit. So, but yes, you don't need 15 million different QR codes, but you could still need 1,000 QR codes. So yeah, for every product, you can have specific QR code, but you don't have to have different QR codes, especially if it's the same products. That's what I'm trying to say. By the way, if I answered your question, or if I didn't answer your question, please let me know. I know I speak a little bit too fast because there is so much information that I want to give you during this webinar. So if you have any questions, I understand that there is, many languages, people sometimes not native in English. So don't hesitate. Ask me all the questions that you have. We want a QR code which is digital passport for each and every product. Okay, and we can have a single dynamic code which can be used for every product. So a digital passport, a QR code which is digital passport for each and every product. Yes, that's possible. Yes. Can we have a single dynamic QR code which can be used for every product? So yeah, again, you can have the same QR code. You can print it on as many products as you want. And then, you can track all your scans over here of this QR code. But then if you want to differentiate somehow your QR code or your product, then you probably want to have a second or third QR code, right? So that's how you make a difference. Again, an example of those 15 million dynamic QR codes that I provided. The difference that this company wanted to make is that it was like promotion, right? Some of the QR codes are winning QR codes, some are losing. So it's actually 2 QR codes. One is winning, one is losing. So, but then they wanted to print it on different products. Let's say, I don't know, 100, right? So you have 200 QR codes. So that's how you make the math as well sometimes to make sure how many QR codes that you need. Okay. Right. So it's true. If you also want to talk to us, another way how you talk to us is by this email. You can just write any question that you have, and we will get back to you. So that this is the 2 ways to speak to us, via this email or via the support button. By the way, I'm going to give this presentation until 3 o'clock British time. I know that not everybody is in UK, but okay. So about 10 minutes, and then if you don't have any more questions, then then we will call it a day. Okay, so a question regarding the pricing. How can I choose the best plan for me? Okay, so we already, sorry, this is API. This is API documentation, by the way. You can get it here. So if you want to connect your backend to our backend, this is what you're going to use. Bulk is over here. And let's talk about pricing quickly. We already talked about how many QR codes that you might need. Thank you, Nila. About the custom domain, how to get that. So I'm gonna show you quickly, because this is also a really big question that I get all the time, so I might as well answer it right now. Here's in settings, you have a couple more things. First of all, you have Google Analytics. You can put it over here. You can create your own short domain. So what it means is, this is usually our white label. So that's what you will see if you scan a QR code by us. You don't see QR Tiger, and then whatever. You see is this white label domain, and then you have a bunch of different QR codes, numbers. After that, this is my business card specifically. I know that for a fact. And so what we can do instead, so let's grab a DHL example. Do I have it still? No. Let me quickly get it, DHL, right? So we have a DHL example, right? So instead of having this as your domain, you can have QR/DHL and then the QR code number, or you could say marketing, etc. Right? So you can play a lot with this. You can create your branding around this. So not to have a white label, but your label here. You can also set your own language here. So I know that everybody is around the world, so your dashboard can be in different languages, or your QR code scanner language can be different languages. And integration, we already talked about Canva, which is for design, HubSpot for CRM, and Zapier, 1,000 other applications. Here's quickly, by the way, example of a business card that I have on Canva. I'm going to show you how easy it is to create your personal design via us. So we have different folders, and this is the QR code I created previously. I can just drag and drop, and that's how easy it is. So it saves a lot of time using this function. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm still addressing actually the pricing issue. So first thing you need to know is how many QR codes you need. And then if you need extra functionality, such as your own short domain. And we will talk about like precise geolocation tracking. It's only available in premium plan. And if by any chance you need more than 600 QR codes, please contact us for the enterprise package. Every person's need, every company's needs is going to be different. Therefore, we don't provide like a fixed pricing. We talk to you. Actually, I will be talking to you if you want it. Just make an appointment and I can talk to you about this. And one thing that is included in all of this packages, like I said before, is this certificate for data security, ISO 27001. And that means that we are secure. Our platform is secure. Your data is secure with us. So yeah, that's generally speaking, that's it. Okay, so far I don't see any more questions. I'm gonna wait for 5 more minutes. If anybody wants to ask me anything about, say, pricing, right, or features, or how you could use the QR codes in your business. We have addressed already so much information today. But you might still have questions. It's completely fine. Again, if you don't even have a question right now, if you're gonna have a question a little bit later, there is contact buttons all over our website here. One here in the bottom, there should be one as well. Somewhere, contact us. Is your pricing list on your website? Yes, it is here. So you just go to our website, you click here, pricing, and then you will see where the prices are. Let's see. By the way, we have a multi-language lingual support. So if you speak, let's say, French, Italian, Spanish, Dutch, any other language, Hungarian, etc., our team is able to reply to you on all the different languages. This is, by the way, a couple more brands which we work with, like some really big, huge brands. Yeah. I think I don't see any questions right now, but so I'm just waiting. I think TikTok is one of our clients. Somebody asked me recently about TikTok, how they use QR codes. So they have this generator. Here it is. That if in certain situations you can generate a QR code, say to share with share your profile with somebody else, or to connect to TikTok itself. I'm not sure what exactly the use case, but they use the QR code in this exact way. There is another huge brand which is I'm not going to name it because of privacy issues, But what they do is they have a QR code on top of all their products. And if they need maintenance, then somebody can scan QR code and they get all the information, including the contact information, the last time it was checked, what the status of the product is. So there is a million of ways how you can set up your QR codes. By the way, I'm going to speak just a little bit longer. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. We're going to finish in 5 minutes if you don't have any questions. I had another client just recently. They were in logistics. They wanted to, to have the potential to track their inventory. Like it was a big company. They had every piece of the equipment was very expensive. And then, delivery of those items had to come in exactly the same moment. And so the quality concerns, there was huge quality concerns regarding every product. And so, they used all that controlling via a QR code. And they made it happen, because for them, what was important is that if there was a delay, even in one day, that potentially could have cost them thousands of dollars in this case. So that was kind of to be avoided. That's why they used it. But again, we have clients from all over the world, from virtually every industry, and they use QR codes in very different ways. I think marketing would be the biggest way how everybody uses QR codes, but then, logistics, supply chain, office, anything. Just a little bit like the revolution around the QR codes happened because people realized why the QR code was such a great tool. And it is because it connects the outside world, the physical world, with the digital world. So you are somewhere on the street and there is advertising. You can get all the information about this advertising via a QR code. You can connect exactly to the right URL by scanning this QR code and saving it for later. It's a huge difference, and it's really making a difference for thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of brands all over the world. So yeah, that's really why you can nowadays see a QR code on virtually every point of the street. And then I was in Italy, by the way. I think there was somebody from Italy on this call, and I kid you not, I was walking down the street and my eyes is a little bit like programmed to see QR codes wherever I go, and I would see them like on every corner. I would see a QR code. We have a question. Okay, you are looking at a 37 package, right? We'll subscribe. Thank you. Can we speak to you, please, so we can help us if we get stuck? Yes, of course. That's why we are here. Again, if you have a concrete question, just ask our support team here. Or if you want to speak with a specialist like myself, that can be arranged if you have a specific question. So don't hesitate. We are here to support you in every step of the way. One of the biggest, you're welcome, ways how clients sometimes want an assistance is with API, with integration. Generally speaking, it's provided over here. But if you run into any sort of questions, technical questions, you can ask us and we are more than happy to answer your questions. Okay, so it's almost time. I'm just going to finish my Italy story. And then if nobody has more questions, then we're going to wrap it up. My Italy story was that I saw the QR code on virtually every corner. And sometimes you go to the shop and the first thing that you see when you walk in, there's a QR code with their social media, with their Wi-Fi, right? Or with their promotions, etc. So sometimes the business was closed, but there was a QR code on the window over there. And they said, hey, scan us so you can talk to us while we are not working. So QR code revolution started after the COVID, when people realized that they want us to have this contactless way to speak to the clients, right? But after the COVID, we are now in a moment of our lives where we luckily don't have to be out there. We don't have to wear masks. we can still do this if we want to, but we still realize that after the COVID, there is so much potential to use QR codes. And this is why the growth of the QR industry has never stopped. That's why everybody's using QR codes. And kind of honestly, the more people using QR codes, the more people understand the benefit of them and how to use them. And therefore, the more they use them. So it is as one of the biggest technology comebacks of like almost all times. So the QR codes appeared, and then they kind of, in Japan, by the way, in the logistic industry, then they die down, and now they're making a huge comeback. And with that story, I thank everybody who was on this call. And if you have any questions, talk to our support team. Otherwise, it was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.